I can even do a little intro. Matushka and me, Matushka and me. Intro song.
No.
No intro song, huh? Hello and welcome to Matushka and me. It's been a little bit of time. A long time. That's only been 2 months. That's not a really long time. Really?
In the grand scheme of things, that's a long
like
time.
60 days or something. It's my hair would tell it's been a breeze. It's been a breeze. People are going to start thinking that I roll out of bed looking this amazing. They're gonna.
It's definitely nighttime, so we didn't roll out of bed.
Shh, you're gonna give our secret away. Maybe I did just roll out of bed. Maybe I took a nap. Maybe I turned into a grumpy old man in 2 months. I need to take a nap.
There you go.
Or maybe I just need to take a nap.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a grumpy old man to enjoy a nap every now and then.
I agree.
Nothing wrong with taking a nap. People are actually going to start thinking, I don't even comb my hair is what's going to happen. I assure you, I comb my hair every single day.
I don't know. I usually leave for work before I see y'all.
In fact, I comb my hair sometimes twice or 3 times a day, actually, depending on what's going on. So
yeah, especially with the 10-month-old. I guess he's 11 months now, but yeah.
Well, a lot of exciting things happened, but there was one sad thing that happened as well, which is no one responded to our giveaway. So
we're out of luck of getting one of these bad boys.
That's
here.
right.
One of these.
Or bad girls. It's or a free T-shirt. We could
yeah,
do
that's
that.
right.
So,
T-shirt too.
So we'll have to figure out how to make it more enticing next time. I thought for sure we would get at least one submission or something, but nothing. So I guess we have to try harder to give away free stuff. Because nobody wants free stuff now. But that's okay. During the summer, we had a lot of great things happen. The summer's not quite at a close, I guess, especially after the heat wave that we had last week. It's a reminder that we're still very, very firmly in summer. I guess it's only the beginning of August. So, it's still pretty much the summer. But the great things I'm thinking of are all of the wonderful natural gems that come up. Summer's actually a good time for some people in our area to plant certain things and to harvest them. Things that I enjoy, like watermelon and blueberries and okra. But I wanted to share with you, we'd like to share with you some of the things that we actually harvested off of our own property during the summer while we were on our 2-month break from here. So I'll start in order of kind of how they came, actually. First off, we have these wonderful little red berries, which I assure you, let me see, still amazing with the camera. Look how awesome I am.
Get closer.
Yeah, closer.
That's it.
People are going to be like, are those cranberries? No. You can't really tell, but they're little tiny strawberries. But they're actually not truly strawberries. They're related to the rose family, and they are mock strawberries. Let's see if you can get a little. They're kind of fuzzy, and those little fuzzies are the seeds. They really don't taste like strawberries when you eat them. They're not especially tasty. The leaves on them look like strawberries. They look tiny strawberries, and you have to gather so many of them for it even to make worthwhile. But an interesting thing happens when you mash them up and you mix them with like a little sugar water. Then it turns into strawberry jelly. No joke. And it actually tastes a lot like strawberry jelly.
So good.
It's really amazing.
The berry itself is not good, but making it into a jam was really good.
And actually, these have been growing for like 3 months. I've been picking them for the last 3 months, pretty much, or maybe 2 months. I don't know. I can't keep. But they've been growing. I just picked these a couple of days ago, and the first one I picked were at least 2 months ago.
Right.
So they've been fruiting for a while, and they grow every year in the same spot.
Randomly started growing.
Yeah, they grow wild. Yeah, they grow wild. So we got those. We've got some wild strawberry jelly in there, or mock strawberry jelly. Very good. And then also during the season, garlic came due, I want to thank one of my parishioners who has a paradisical property as such in our area, and he provided us with many opportunities to come and get this wonderful garlic. And it's so funny because you can eat the garlic when you pull it out of the ground. You can eat it right away. It has a lot different flavor and texture than if you let it dry out. This is one of the dried ones, right? It looks like what you buy exactly at a store. And it's amazing because this is just growing. There's an enormous stalk that comes with it, and you can break the stalks up and make a like a soup base out of it or a seasoning base out of it. But this is a garlic. It's just growing from the yard. It's just growing from the yard. So we've got a lot of that. We dried some of that and used that. And then something else which was really amazing started coming in, which I love, and these are wild mushrooms. Yeah. These particular ones are called chanterelles. And in some places, they're actually rather prized. I wanted to share with you this amazingly sized chanterelle that I harvested off of our property as well. Look how enormous this one is. Humongous. And you might say, Father, how do you know it's edible? Well, we've been eating them for a while, no problem. But we did make sure that we identified the mushrooms very thoroughly before we even tried to eat them. Yes. Chanterelles are interesting because they have this trumpet shape, kind of like that vase shape you can see. And then on the bottom side, unlike how some mushrooms have these big gills, chanterelles have these little tiny veins. They don't even really stick out to me. They're almost like little ridges. And also, and I don't really want to break this guy in half to show you necessarily. I'll use this one of the smaller guy who's already kind of breaking in half. Also, when you break a chanterelle in half, you smell that? It's not mushroomy. It's fruity, like apricot, actually. It's kind of interesting. And then you can see kind of the inside. It's a white flesh down the middle, and then it also kind of has like they say, a string cheese appearance to it on the inside. But chanterelles are quite tasty. If you cook them properly, you don't overcook them. They have a slightly fruity taste to them, actually, which is really nice. They go well kind of sauteed with, butter or something like that. You can deep fry them, treat them like any other regular mushroom, but those grow wild out here. And they actually are pretty easy to identify. There's only one or two mushrooms that look like them, but even those mushrooms have some very distinctive characteristics that set them completely apart of the chanterelle. Long story short, if you get into identifying chanterelles very quickly, you know the difference. And even then, the chances of you misidentifying something that looks like a chanterelle, when you're going online, you're finding the documentation for it. Even if you were to accidentally eat something that was very, very similar to a chanterelle, from what I've been told, I wouldn't know because I haven't done this, but what I've been told that it's not a great feeling, but it's not going to kill you. Right. It's not, I haven't had any problems because I know exactly how to identify them, and my policy is if I'm not sure, I just don't pick it. Yep. So I'm almost, I'm always certain when I pick the chanterelles that I pick, and they range from really small, like I showed you, to the larger size. Actually, I picked so many. I had an enormous basket full, probably about 6 pounds. I picked so many that I canned some this year. Yeah. So that was really exciting. Another tasty treat that came up this year. We didn't even know we had this on our property. No. We had just bought a house in November here in Mississippi, and we didn't even know we had this on our property. Nope. So we were delighted, yes. And that is blueberries. Yay. Wild blue. Well, they're not wild. Somebody planted the bush, but these are our blueberries, as you can see.
They were not planted by us. Blueberries.
Yeah, not planted by us. Blueberries. Oh man, I'm having a really hard time getting a few that doesn't quite look like blueberries. There you go.
There you go. That's it.
There you go. So these delicious blueberries that we got on our property, pretty good size this year, and very tasty, plump. We got a lot of rain, and so all of a sudden I went out there and there were blueberries everywhere. It's pretty amazing.
And they're still
yes.
in.
Here we are.
Still coming
Here we
in.
are in August, and apparently the type of blueberry that we have is a little bit later, and they are they kind of fruit for a while. So I just picked some blueberries a couple of days ago, and the bush still has some green ones on there. Also, I think because it's very shaded, they didn't turn as quickly, so there's still quite a few green ones on there. We'll see. Maybe the birds will get them.
Yeah.
And then towards the kind of the middle of our blueberry, we realized that on a property we actually had pears that we're making, and so let's see, probably we're in August now. Towards the end of July, these amazing pears made. So we got fresh pears, which is really great. So we'll be eating those and canning those, making pear sauce, making pear bread. We're very excited about that. And then, of course, the season that we're in at this time of year is also really good for tomatoes. Now, I had an example of some of the tomatoes that we had on our property, but I ate them. I'm so sorry. We've been trying to make this video for a little bit, and frankly, we just ate them. They're a little tiny, though. They're small ones like this. They're cherry-sized tomatoes, and they're yellow. Yeah. And that's why I have this tomato here. But right now, I went out there, and we probably have about 24 little cherry tomatoes getting ready to turn over the next 3 or 4 days. And this is actually quite an amazing little tomato plant because I didn't plant it, which is hilarious because it's the most successful tomato plant I've ever grown in my life. Yes. It just popped up. I've watered it one time, once, and it's just loaded with cherry tomatoes, and they're actually very good cherry tomatoes. From what I can tell, my best guess is that on our property we had a chicken coop, and the previous owners, I guess, at some point fed the scraps to the chickens, and it just so happened that there was a tomato in there because that's where it is. It's not too far from the chicken coop, and boy, this plant got enormous and loaded with tomatoes. And so we were very excited. But this particular tomato we got from a dear friend, and they grew this tomato as well, and we're excited to eat this one. It's very nice, tasty yellow. But we love tomatoes, and this is a season when we get them, so I'm excited and happy that we got them. Then finally, around this time of year, I am very impatiently not waiting for the coming of one of my favorite fruits of all time, the muscadine. Now, I know that there's a debate about this, but let me tell you something, okay? This is a muscadine, all right? And people will say, well, Father, it's white. It's not a muscadine. Only the purple ones are muscadines. Yeah. No, listen. They're all muscadines. There are a number of varietals of muscadines, just like there are a number of varietals of apples, right? Some muscadines are red, some muscadines are white, some are kind of pinkish. I called the largest muscadine farm in Mississippi. It has 300 acres of muscadines. They have 8 varietals.
Oh, I thought it was 9.
Well, 8 or 9, but regardless, some of them are white, some are pinkish, some of them are the red ones, the purple ones, okay? They're all muscadines. The reason I get so excited about muscadines is because, one, I love muscadines. I love the taste. But also, muscadines are native to our state, and they're native in many parts of the U.S., okay? So it's a native grape, and it's a really great grape. You can make wine out of it, you can eat it, you can make jelly out of it, all kinds of things, and it's very tasty. I like it, especially because it's very tasty. It's a little tart, but it's also a little sweet, and you can eat the whole fruit. You can eat the seeds, you can eat the interior, you can eat the skin, everything. But also this time of year, we're preparing for the Feast of Holy Transfiguration, and it's customary in the Orthodox Church for us to bless grapes on Holy Transfiguration. Right. So I always love trying to acquire muscadines so that we can bless them with all the grapes and all the other fruit that we bless. In fact, I always try to encourage people to bring watermelon. One year, I encouraged people to bring chilies because I guess technically they're like berries. Yes. But in any case, I love blessing the muscadines. I love eating the muscadines. They are a little challenging to acquire this time of year, though, around New Calendar Transfiguration, because the zone in which muscadines grow. Right now in Mississippi, pretty much for the entire state, with all the vineyards that are here, they won't be ready by Holy Transfiguration. You have to go a little bit further, kind of out of the zone, a lower zone, which is kind of like southern Alabama, northern, and the panhandle of Florida, and those kind of areas. Those muscadines have already come due. So it's likely that these muscadines that I got, when I got from the farmer's market locally, it's likely that they came from Florida. More often than not, but that's okay. Every year I go on a quest to find them before Transfiguration, and only 1 year have I been unsuccessful. But it's not below me to call over the state. I called all over. I called 10 people in Tennessee. I called people in Alabama. I called all over Mississippi. I even called a winery that used muscadine grapes, just on the off chance that they might give me some grapes. Yeah. So none of that is below me. I am immovable on my quest for muscadines, so that I may bless them on Holy Transfiguration. But these are some of the joys that we had this summer, some of the things that we enjoyed harvesting and look forward to. Yes. I suppose if I was a better gardener, we would have more things to look forward to. It's kind of fun that these actually just grow for free for the most part, so I enjoy harvesting a lot of the foraging for wild stuff and harvesting them, and finding new recipes and using things for new recipes. In fact, what is we made the jam from that's what we made this year. That was a new recipe for us. It was really good. With the blueberries, for the past couple of years I've made a blueberry coffee cake called Blueberry Buckle. It's very rich, but the point of Blueberry Buckle is that you put all these blueberries in there, you make a coffee cake, and then you make it in a pan so that as the batter for the cake rises, it basically explodes over the top so that it's buckling over the top. That's the idea. But it's really just a blueberry coffee cake, a very decadent, sugar-filled, rich, butter creamy, blueberry infused coffee cake. So kind of hard to talk about that now during the fast.
I know. It's like, why are we talking about that?
Dormition fast is less than 2 weeks now.
That's right.
So, but yeah, we are looking forward towards Holy Transfiguration. That's also another joy of Holy Transfiguration, is because we're doing the fast, and it's a delight to enjoy the muscadines for me, because it's a treat for me, and they really only come due this time of year. August to September time. Mm-hmm. And it also reminds me of the time that I was in Ukraine for Holy Transfiguration, and what a joy it was to be there to see. Sometimes people, when you go to bless fruits, they ask, well, aren't we only supposed to bless grapes? But I will tell you, no. Not only that, but having gone to Ukraine and been there for Holy Transfiguration, they bless all kinds of fruits. They had everything there. They had apricots, and they had plums, and they had all kinds of grapes. I mean, it was just apples. I mean, it was really something to see. Everybody bringing up their baskets for Holy Transfiguration, and it was a really unique and wonderful experience. So, what are some of the? I'm sure you're going to say everything, but I mean, what are some of the things that you liked about this summer that we foraged and enjoyed?
Oh my. Definitely the little fake strawberries was really good. That was probably by far my favorite.
That was a new experience for you.
I've never seen anything like that. And it tasted so good. So good.
Yeah.
So good. And then definitely the chanterelle mushrooms is probably my second favorite.
Yeah, I've known you for a long time. You're never a big fan of mushrooms, and I've kind of slowly converted you. So it's kind of a highlight of my...
Very good. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. We've had them different ways, and they're all just really good. So
it's kind of a highlight of my existence to have not only converted you to eating mushrooms, but getting you to eat a mushroom that literally I picked in the yard.
That's true.
I mean,
that's true. And they're just all over.
They're a big. It's a big patch.
I mean, it's huge,
Yeah.
and they're really pretty too because they're just these bright little colors.
Really are.
Of just bright little colors in our yard.
I will tell you, sometimes, actually, oftentimes, they're a little bit of a pain because where chanterelle mushrooms like to grow is they like to grow kind of at the base of hardwood, specifically oak trees. And that's where I look for them because we have a lot of oaks.
We do.
And they grow on the, close there, but we have a lot of trees, and so they create a canopy, and so there's just this enormous amount of leaves that come and fall and disintegrate, and so the chanterelles are growing up in them at the bases of these kind of oak trees. So they're often kind of loaded with debris, and chanterelles can be a little bit finicky because if they grow up, that debris can get inside of them, and so sometimes you even have to pull the chanterelles apart and clean them inside. So it can be quite a bit of work, and there's a little bit of balance that I found between getting bigger ones and getting smaller ones. You don't want to wait too late into the season. You don't want to wait too late for a mushroom because just like we like to eat them, all the critters like to eat them too. And there was a couple of mushrooms where I thought, oh, this is so amazing. I picked it up and realized, okay, there are several permanent residents inside this one, so no thanks.
See you later. Yeah.
Now, I read on forums that, hey, as long as it's not rotten, you can use it, but
that's right.
I just had we had so many this year, I didn't even want to go that route. I thought, nah, no thanks. No. But they can be a little bit of a challenge to clean. They can take a little bit of time to clean, and you want to make sure that you get all that dirt off because it affects the flavor, but also it's not real tasty. No. So, but they're also kind of finicky because you don't want to over clean them, and especially with wild foraged mushrooms, that can be also kind of like a zero-sum game. Mm-hmm. If you go and forage this mushroom, and then most of the mushroom that you forage, you have to pick apart, and you lose it, and it's bruised, and it's kind of like, well, so this season kind of taught me what to look for and what to anticipate. But you're right. We have an enormous patch. I just went and checked them today, and there's still some out there, but it's to me it's a little bit late in the season. Mm-hmm. And it's really fun because I think I identified at least 3 other mushrooms that we have on our property that are edible.
That's right. That's right.
One of the boys called the ones that I identified, they called it a spider mushroom. It was so ugly. And I'll admit, they're a little ugly. I mean, they're all like black speckled and black stemmed, and if I showed them, somebody would say, "Father, that's a death mushroom." I actually thought that's what it was. I thought it was a death mushroom, and I was, for the past couple of years, I've been stomping them in the ground, and only recently did I find out that they're not death mushrooms. They're actually edible. So one of the things that Mississippi has is they have a lot of mushrooms in the bolete category. And this particular mushroom, Old Man of the Woods, is a bolete, but
that's what it's called.
It's really hard to mistake it for anything else because it doesn't really look like anything else, and the identifiers on it are super easy. So the only thing about the Old Man of the Woods is that they're not super tasty. I mean, they're not bad, but they're not super tasty. And then the caps on them are soft, but the stems are a little bit harder and fibrous-y, so they're not. But they get fairly big. So I identified that and a couple of other ones, I think. So, but it was too late in the season. It's too late in the season for that. So, I'll be looking out for next season. The great thing about what I understand about foraging, I'm really super amateur. That most of the stuff that you forage, whether it's your garlic or your wild strawberries, your blueberries, your pears, your mushrooms, most of the stuff that you're foraging, it is going to grow back in the same spot next year. So that's really interesting and intriguing. So we'll have to see what next year brings. But I'm so glad that you enjoyed the chanterelles.
Yes, those were good. Well, they are good. We're still eating them.
That's true. I sure was had some the other night.
So many, it was really good. Yes. Good. Thank you.
Well, I look forward to maybe hearing about some of the things that you guys might have done this summer. Maybe you didn't forage. Maybe you had an interesting project that you did. or something like that. Make sure that you include that in the comments. Say something that you did or something that kept you busy. And if you've ever done any of this foraging, or if you have some crops or something that you grew this summer, please share that too. We'd like to hear that. We'd like to hear about some of the projects you're doing. You feel free to share some stuff too. Share some stuff with us. If you want to go and send us a photo of maybe your prized tomato, or your prized pears, or your wild discovery. That would be great. We'd love to see a picture of that, and we'll include the email address in which you can contact us, like we have in the past, and we look forward to hearing from you. What do you say, Matushka?
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Well, God bless you.